Hey, everybody.
Gla-
Sorry.
Glad to be with you. As we were waiting for Ellen to finish putting on her lipstick.
Sorry, I had to cough.
And
Yes, Carson is once again first. How do you do that, man? Like, that's like twice in a row.
Yeah, do you hop on
Jane.
before you make your rounds? Hello, Jane, Melissa, Sky. Good to see all y'all.
And all of you are owed a hat. And Clay's going to explain how that works.
Yeah, we are actually waiting on the order to be. We've ordered a new batch. We're actually waiting on the order to be completed and shipped by the manufacturer. We hope it'll be this week. So we hadn't forgotten about you. We're not trying to stall
I've got a
you.
notebook.
Want to get them to you.
I've got a notebook and names and addresses.
But just wanted to let you know that right now it's a little bit beyond our control.
And we both just ate, so we're like, Keith, something's going on here. Got something here. Got something. What? Apologize for that.
If you see the camera go off, it's because we're picking our teeth or something. I don't know.
It's been a long day. We had a lot going on. Carson, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to touch that.
Chat, if you want to touch that one, you go for it.
Yeah, I'll help yourself. But nonetheless, we're glad you were first. Glad you're with us. We know your schedule's a little bit up and down, but it's always good to see you. Carson, for those of you who are new to the show or may not know, or on the replay crew or whatever, Carson is known as our leading deflector.
Mm-hmm. So he derails.
So between him and Ellen, I'm like,
never know what you're gonna get.
Getting back to the topic, but yeah, they do a good job in that regard.
Well, I mean, he throws something up there, then I gotta say something about it, and then
Ellen's mind is very creative. Mine is. I'm probably a little bit more analytical. She thinks of stuff and that I don't consider or wouldn't think of, and there it is. So sometimes I'm like, that's just a little out of left field. But she does, conceive of things that I don't, and reminds me of things that I should be reminded of.
And Carson, right on cue.
If only touching could be considered a euphemism. I thought it usually was with you.
We love you, Carson. Carson is totally harmless. If anyone on here does not know him, he is just a funny guy who works his butt off. He's got kids. He's got wife, whole nine. He's in Canada, and we love him.
Yeah, I love him as much as a straight guy can. So
there you go.
Carson's a good guy.
So I heard
that's kind of the cool thing is like he's part of the little family. We actually have kind of a little family and fellowship here, and that's what we enjoy absolutely the most. So we're thankful for each one of you, and I mean that.
And we are praying for Brentwood.
She's having a hard time right now.
Yeah, at her ex-father-in-law's funeral, and taking care of all that. So God bless her.
Yeah, that's quite a load. I've been through a few of those, and that is quite a load. Never.
I think the worst. No, I think the worst one. He was 92, which is awesome. I mean, a great age, I guess. I don't know that I want to live that long, but the worst funeral I ever went to was my 18-month-old cousin.
Yeah, that would be tough.
That was awful. That was
just seeing a little casket is painful.
Yeah.
It hurts. It's just like, this is just wrong. Don't have to know anything else. Just seeing the little casket strikes me as something's horribly wrong.
Yeah, apparently my cousin Jeff and the woman that he married, Linda, their DNA just didn't work together for some reason. And so Chastity could never develop muscles, which, of course, your main muscle is your heart that keeps you alive. And it just never could keep up. So she was in the hospital for most of her life. But I just that funeral with the open casket, that was just the worst. Yes, Jane, it is always devastating when a child dies.
Yeah,
It is heartbreaking.
it is. And, I think as a parent, the worst thing would be for me to outlive my child.
Yep.
I just think that's something that no parent should ever experience.
Or your
Burying our
grandchildren.
parents, yeah, burying your parents is painful enough.
Yep.
You just should never have to bury your child.
No.
Anyway, our thoughts and prayers are with Brentwood. We know it's a
Yes.
difficult week for her. So keep her in your thoughts.
Oh, geez. Sky, I'm so sorry.
16-year-old cousin who is an only child died in a car accident 50 years ago.
I mean,
Very,
losing kids is just tough. It's just
yeah.
they're supposed to live a lot longer than those of us who are older.
Yeah, I was really very thankful when my daughter got past the teen years driving wise. She had a couple of friends that were killed. They were going down the highway. They knew some boys in the next car, and they were sitting there waving and cutting up to them, and ran into uh, a concrete edge for a bridge.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, the car didn't have airbags or anything, and I don't think they were wearing their seatbelts. So it's just, yeah, just never good. Cousin wasn't
Oh,
driving,
wow.
her mother was. This was before seatbelts. Yeah.
Hey,
Fif
Sky, I remember standing up beside my mother in her station wagon with my arm around her when she was driving to the grocery store. I mean, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, my dad had a car with a moonroof. It was manual, it didn't have electric, so you had to pop the lever, pull it back, but I would stand up on the armrest and ride,
Heck yeah.
while he was, stand up with my head through that while he was, driving around. At lower speeds, anything over 30, it got a little windy, but, um, that just
So
wasn't a major concern back then. Nobody thought of those
s
things.
so that's what happened to you. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Jane. Oop, I think we both clicked it. Sometimes we click the same thing at the same time and it
Yeah.
comes and goes.
Yeah, you're right. There is no word to describe the loss of a child. You're an orphan when your parents die, and a widower when you lose a spouse. How sad is that?
It's terrible.
Yeah, what do they call parents that lose their children? So you're not an orphan, you're not a widower, you're don't know.
You're
But
heartbroken.
yeah, yeah. To me, that's the worst. You kind of expect your parents to pass.
Mhm.
Um, so anyway,
Aw, Sky.
yeah, they're called hollow.
Okay, we're getting down a really icky path right here, so we gotta switch topics because y'all are gonna make me cry. Okay,
Yeah. Um, so good news. We
there's good news.
survived. We
The
survived
eclipse,
the eclipse.
the apocalyptic eclipse.
It was an eclipse, not an apocalypse.
It was supposed to be an
Hey,
apocalyptic eclipse.
you know, still could happen. Throughout history, eclipses have always been omens of, foreboding events. So, the
Well,
year's
Clay,
not up, whatever.
if anything gets worse, we're just all I don't even know what to say. I mean, it really can't get much worse than it is.
That's almost that's a very good lead in actually to the thing that I wanted to talk about first tonight. If we didn't
Wait, wait,
have any
wait.
questions before.
Do y'all have any questions you want to ask? Anything? Like literally, we say anything. Religion, sports, economy, politics, anything. Oh, geez. If there's anything that y'all want to talk about, a watch party that did you get a better sense or the better view of the eclipse? We got like a quarter eclipse here.
Yeah, really not much of anything. It got just a tad dimmer, but that was it.
But we
'Cause
had
it just
welding
nipped
helmets.
the edge of the sun.
But we had welding helmets. That helps. We were like, we don't have any glasses. Welding
Yeah,
helmets. That'll do
and
it.
I'm not sure the helmets were adequate
Hmm.
because I still saw bright lights for a while.
Well,
Ours peaked at 42%.
I think ours was less than 25.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Well, good for you, a judge of elections.
Oh, good God.
Pennsylvania's primaries in 2 weeks.
I am praying for you. I am so sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull out a praying carpet when the general comes.
Yeah, I've been asked to do a few. Um, we'll see. I just if I can actually make a difference and be there and do something that is worthy or that makes a difference, then I will. But otherwise, I don't know.
Carson, too busy working on my Carta Care, putting in new lower control arms, which is not, not some small feat.
I don't know what that
So,
is.
those things that like turn the wheel, control the
That would be
angle
my
of the tire.
hands. My hands turn the wheel.
Okay. All
So
right.
if you're talking about replacing your arms, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, Carson, I'm proud of you. That's
Okay, there you go.
that's that's a that's a good weekend. Well done.
Oh, oh, shit.
I quit.
Play. Stop it.
Quit.
It's a lot of work, but I feel like it's been I do too. I do too. Um, and I want to, but all the requests I get are like, but you got to donate. And I'm like, I have donated. I'm not donating anymore. So forget it. We'll see.
We need more good people involved.
Yeah, we
Practical
do.
reality. And we need more good people running for office. I was talking to somebody and I said, good, hardworking, middle America, salt of the earth types don't normally run for office because they're too busy making a living, taking care of their families. They don't want to be on the phone raising money all the times. So
Yeah.
I just saw Carson's last post and
Yeah, I did too.
kind of interrupted my thoughts.
We're ignoring that, Carson. It's
Did we mention deflecting?
yeah.
Anyway.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. So, whatever I was saying, it's true. Anyway, good people.
Carson's
That's it.
very good at the deflection.
We need more good people involved. We really do. And it's
Yeah.
hard, it's painful, it's time consuming. It doesn't pay in one regard. So, it takes away from time from job or family or whatever, and that's difficult for a lot of people.
Carson is on a roll tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All
is
I think of
hilarious.
is that what was it in Full Metal Jacket? Little
Mm.
Vietnamese girl coming up going, "Me love you long time."
Fidela, Fidela.
$5.
Anyway,
$5.
make you holla. All right,
Um,
continue on. Because Carson's doing his job tonight.
well, I kind of, we were talking about changing gears
Mm-hmm.
from kind of a sad, miserable, painful topic. And I thought, hey, don't worry, be happy, which is a great intro to this particular topic.
Hang on. Jane Post. Oh, I'm all over that. I know. I think I sent you my phone number too. I am all over that one. Election conspiracies.
Once the election gets a little closer, we might just take a Tuesday night and just have at it.
We might just have you on, Jane, if you want to come on and we can just talk all about it.
Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent. We'll have, anybody
Yep.
/ everybody
Mhm.
that wants to, comment on the, general election, hash out, conspiracy theories or whatever. We'll just lay it all out as clean and simply as we can, being respectful to each other, having a divergence of opinion, knowing that that night you're going to hear things that you don't agree with, that you don't like. Maybe you'll learn something that you didn't know, or maybe you'll think of something you hadn't thought of before. And that's really why we do this channel. So, most every night I'll say something that probably some of
Ooh,
y'all disagree with or don't like, and that's okay.
I like this.
Yeah. It could be interesting because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of different ways to quote unquote influence the vote that aren't necessarily illegal. A lot of decisions have to be made on what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And we can talk about some of those issues, ballot harvesting and some of the others.
Ooh,
So,
is I've heard the rumor that Biden's trying to get all the illegal aliens,
well,
excuse me, but
I
that's
don't
what they
want
are,
to
to get
I
them.
don't want to get into it tonight.
Okay. All right. All right.
But there's a lot of states and cities that are legitimately trying to allow illegal aliens, undocumented individuals, whatever you want to call them, give them the right to vote. And I was sitting there thinking, how many nations in the world give non-citizens the right to vote? I couldn't think of any. I'm willing to bet the number starts with a Z and ends with an ERO, but
Mm-hmm.
I may be wrong.
Carson, that was depressing. Thank you.
That's
Share,
all right.
like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Carson, do your job, man. I mean, if you're going to come up here and totally derail everyone, then you should at least share it with your friends. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we are definitely getting a more active chat going when
Mm-hmm.
Carson and Jane, even though we're missing a few people.
And Melissa and poor Miss
Melissa,
Brentwood.
yeah,
And yep. And Sky.
Guy. So, um, don't worry, be happy. This is an article in the New York Times. And it was written by an academic, an economics professor at the University of Michigan by the name of Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy. The key takeaway of this article is obviously, don't worry, be happy, the title. His basic point is that, we've lived in a period of inflation, and you may think that inflation has undermined your ability to pay your bills. But don't worry about it, because you'll just give yourself an anxiety attack. Or if I were to rephrase his idea, I would say you need to just be happy you can still buy something. Before you probably ate too much, you probably traveled too much, you probably spent too much on your dogs, spent too much on your kids or your family. So be thankful that you don't have those major problems to deal with anymore.
Because
Be
you've had
happy.
to shuck everything down to the very bare minimum necessities. Yeah, that
And
sounds awesome.
as a as only a true academic could, he makes the argument that quote unquote money is neutral to economic exchange as it is inflation. Now, what does that mean?
What kind of bullshit statement is that?
Well, here it is.
Well, I can't see it. Can you make
Yeah,
it
you can.
bigger? There we
Yeah,
go.
you can. He argues your wages go up, so you should be neutral. Yeah, prices go up, but your wages go up. He implies they go up as much as inflation. His exact quote: to see this, imagine falling asleep, waking up years later, waking up the next day to discover every price tag has an extra zero on it. A gumball costs 250 instead of a quarter. The dollar store is a $10 store. Coffee is 50. The bill in your wallet is now 800 and your bank statement has transformed 800 of savings into 8,000. Importantly, the price that matters most to you is your hourly pay rate is also 10 times as high.
But that's not reality.
What what has actually changed in this new world of inflated price tags? Well, the world has a lot more zeros in it, but nothing has really changed.
That is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard in my life. And
And
like
if you
Carson said, it's word salad and not Carson's favorite salad.
we're not done yet. And in case, some of you
We need to call
thought
pollinate these streams. Mm.
in case some of you thought the ivory tower thing was the stuff of myths, his theory his theory is a rather good one if you ignore history and current reality. Like most like most theories. If we look at real income, for example,
Hang on. Let me ask you one question. All right.
ask me
So
one question.
if everything just had a zero added onto it, there is actually no difference.
We're about
But but that's no different than the zero not being there.
his basic point, he's trying to imply that your wages have gone up as much as inflation, so
They
you should
have
be
not.
neutral. But that's his point. I'm
He's an
saying that's his
idiot.
point.
He's a
Well,
fucking
we're going to
moron.
look
Sorry.
at that. We're going to look at that, and we're going to start off by looking at median household income, the average income per house. In 2019, it was 78,250. As of the close of last year, it was 74,580. So what we've
Right.
seen is a drop of 7% in 5 years.
But Clay, in 2024, the inflation has gone up 17%.
Ellen,
Sorry. You're
not
getting
done
there.
yet. Not
Okay.
done yet. You lay down the facts. Over this time, this past 5 years, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is up about 25%. Now, we just covered the Wall Street Journal article that took an actual basket of goods and priced them in 2019 and then last month.
Mm.
And this was the type of goods that most people buy: milk, breads, meat, vegetable oil, these kind of things that most people buy routinely every month. A real grocery cart full of items. And they showed that the average price for this cart had gone up 40% over this 5 years, which I
Hmm.
think is far closer to reality
Yep.
for the
Uh-oh.
average buyer, at
It's
least for the
7:30.
stuff you buy.
I forget. We take up food and water at 7:30 just to keep the dogs on some kind of schedule. Sorry. Um, I'm gonna interrupt you a little bit more so you can think about what you're about to say. But no, like Melissa has just said Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's. I'm like, okay, fine. So I go because my honey needs her treats. I bought like 4 or 5 meals and cat food and cat treats for less than $60. I was so damn excited. I called Clay. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this was so cheap." It was it's nutty.
And some of their stuff that we tried was pretty damn good, not gonna lie.
Really good. Mhm.
Yeah, Trader Joe's, I haven't been in it in years, but I went in once, and it's not like a typical grocery store. It doesn't have all sorts of different products. It has its products.
Mhm. And ones that are approved by them.
Yeah. So it's different manufacturers, different producers, different items. But so that's if you're attached to a specific product, like Ellen could never buy mayonnaise from there
No.
because they
I
don't
like my
carry
Dukes.
Duke's
Dukes is
mayonnaise.
my mayonnaise. That's it. Mhm.
Yeah, that's the only thing consider. She won't even try anything else. So,
I've
but for
tried
what it
Miracle
has,
Whip and it sucks. So, that's all.
blasphemy. But for what it has, and the prices are good, and some of their what was that one thing we tried? Little cheese and spinach and jalapeno.
No, it
I
was like a
forget.
it was a jalapeno, cheese kinda queso dip that was great.
Well, the dip was really good, but I was talking about those little puff things.
Oh, that was just a, jalapeno cream cheese thing, and then we got the stir fry vegetables that were frozen. They made a great stir fry out of.
Yeah. So really good stuff. Don't know if you have one nearby, but if you do, check it out. And Trader Joe's is not an advertiser on this show.
No,
Trader
we
Joe's,
I
if you want to start advertising, we can talk. But
it's a total Melissa Simic thing where she was just like, "You have you" she sent us treats, cat treats from Trader Joe's. And Mahoney would start screaming for the treats, like, she would not shut up. She was like, "Where are my Trader Joe's treats?" I
she
was like,
really
"Fine."
has. She's
Yeah,
gone berserk.
yeah. So I finally went yeah, pretty much. So I finally went and got them, and, but I was like, I'm gonna shop around while I'm here," hoping they even have the treats, and I found so many things that I was like, "This is good. This looks fabulous. This looks delicious," and it was so cheap. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta hang on, we gotta
And it
start
was
back
actually pretty
here.
good.
Oh,
Jane, not my
2%
paycheck.
increase, yeah.
2%. I can name that tune in one note.
Did you get your
Um,
2% this year?
yeah.
Yay.
Thankful to get an increase. I know there's a fair number of people that didn't, but 2%, and we'll talk about as we go on. Let's hit a couple others.
Alright.
Jack from the Survival Podcast calls it the CP lie instead of CPI, CP lie. I detect nothing I can find fault with in that.
Mm-mm.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Jane, no
Oh,
Trader Joe's where I
Jane.
live, but finally getting an Aldi. We've got one down the road. Have never been.
I haven't
Need
either.
to go. I hear good things about it.
Okay.
And then Melissa, the one who referred us or forced us to go to Trader Joe's by
By
corrupting
spoiling
our cat.
our cat.
They also have a certain culture there where everyone is very friendly and helpful, and they become another family.
They are, like, the guy that was bagging the groceries when I was there, I was like, "This is the first time I've ever been here," and he was just like, "You've never been here," and he just was like, "Here's what we do. Here's what we're about. Here's" I was like, "Well, darn. Okay. I like it." And he gave me a free Trader Joe's bag, and I was just like, "Wow, that's awesome."
Here's the best comment of the night.
Melissa, we are sending Melissa some Duke's mayonnaise. Duke's is a Southern mayo that has been around since 1935 or something stupid like that. My grandfather doesn't like it. He likes Miracle Whip. Clay
Whip.
likes Miracle Whip. Clay's entire family likes Dukes. That's all they eat.
No, my entire family consists of my sister.
And
My
her kids.
mother liked Miracle Whip. My dad liked Miracle Whip. I don't know where Kim got her evil ways from, but nonetheless, she has raised her kids on mayonnaise.
Oh my gosh,
So
we're getting all kinds of comments now.
Sky, do you use Flash Food app? I've never heard of that. What is that,
I haven't
Carson?
either. Oh, I didn't know
Aldi's
Aldi's
is
was German.
yeah. It's come to
Mm,
America. Great European chocolate. You do need to bring your own bags.
the chocolate, by the way, I will try Aldi's.
At Trader
But
Joe's was good.
I got him the more than a pound dark chocolate for
See,
Clay,
I
and
like dark chocolate. I'm not a milk chocolate kind of person.
mm-mm. Yep. So I got him that big old bar at Trader Joe's. It was only like $5. I was like, it's over a pound of chocolate. Are you kidding me? What? So, Clay, have you finished it yet?
Just
Are
about.
you
I think there's
just
one or two
about? You're getting
pieces
close.
left. Yeah.
Yep.
But recommend it highly.
No kidding. They love GB. Who
Everybody
doesn't?
everywhere loves GB.
Yes.
I don't know that really makes Trader Joe's any different.
Oh, I'm sending you some Dukes. Yep, that's gonna happen. Dukes is the best mayonnaise ever. Okay,
You know, I want
Carson,
to do a
no.
blindfold test. I bet people can't tell the difference between Dukes and Hellman's.
Oh yeah, you can. There is a huge
Blindfolded.
Dukes is so much better. All right, Desislava, how are you doing, my dear?
Hello, Desislava. Aldi is my favorite, the cheapest grocery store chain. Trader's Joe is my store for flowers, the cheapest. Interesting.
See, I heard that Aldi had it's kind of like hit and miss, or was that Lidl? I can't freaking remember that they have things and they don't. So y'all got to help me out with that one.
Well, we just need to
The
go to Aldi.
Clay's sister grew up with Miracle Whip too, and now she likes mayonnaise. She's like, forget it. And they do have cheap flowers. And thank you, Carson.
Carson's just sucking up to Ellen here.
Nah. Nah.
Some abomination. The thing about Miracle Whip versus mayonnaise, if y'all haven't tried them both or not familiar with one or the other,
Miracle Whip
Whip
is sweet and
is
icky.
a little sweeter. It's smoother.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't
You can't
have
say that.
the
That is your
tart
opinion.
underlying that
Mayo is
mayonnaise
not
does.
tart. It's
It
just
has a
not
little bit of
sweet.
lemon in it. It just gives it a little. My palate is refined in a certain number of areas. I can tell the difference between scotches, but that's the difference, my opinion, between Miracle Whip and mayo.
All right.
And I like the little sweet wang.
Sky, thank you. Every time we usually go online or goes live, he does he's right out of the shower. His hair is all slicked back with his gel and stuff. Today, he showered this morning and now his hair is all like natural. I try to tell him to do this and he does not listen to me. So thank you, Sky.
I didn't even say that. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, my hair is short. So when I'm, first get out of the shower or whatever, I just kind of train it to where it'll stay back instead of just falling straight down. And then during the day I like scratch it and loosen it up or whatever. But it's kind of trained. So can't say, as Ellen refers to it, I don't like the slick back look. And I
You
usually try to do it after it's dried and trained, but
Yeah, but it's never dry when you usually start alive.
Well, it's
It's
because I
always
just got out
wet.
of the shower.
And then I always yell at you. I'm like, dry your hair or let me dry your hair. And you're like, no. Yeah.
I probably need to just do the show without showering. I
Please. They can't
I'll just
smell
wear a
you.
cap backwards.
No, they can't smell you. You're fine. Okay. I think that's for Sky Ricky.
Yeah, it's an app for Canadian
Yeah.
stores. Okay. I was
Look up.
fixing to say you looks like you had a nap and it's puffy. Puffy. I will probably not hear the end of that for a while.
Nope.
Clay, your hair looks all puffy.
Y'all gotta have to like just keep doing this from now on because I can't stand it when he just has the gel and it's right what it just bleh. Anywho, oh my gosh. Okay. Sky, blah blah, clearance. All these finds are the hit and miss. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. And yes, Miracle Whip is nasty. Some sugared up garbage. I believe that.
Do you know it actually doesn't have hardly any more sugar than Miracle Whip does? It just lacks the lemon.
What does?
Miracle Whip, the mayonnaise.
No. Actually, Miracle Whip has a lot more sugar. And Melissa agrees. Thank you.
It is sweeter. She doesn't.
Yeah, he's trying to back it up. When your preference is more sugar, you don't get to claim a refined palate.
Well, damn. I said a refined palate for some things. Some things, my taste and sense of smell. My sense of smell got burned up way back in chemistry. So it
And
is
his
not as
hearing. Huh?
my hearing got blown up at a few Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple concerts.
Y'all, listen, he really can't taste anything. He comes to me and he's like, "Can you smell this and tell me if it's still okay?" I'm like, he's like, "You have a good sniffer." I'm like, "Big, yeah, because I can smell and taste." And Desislava, okay, cold crashed wine. What is that? Do you know what that is?
Not sure.
I have
Desislava
not.
tried the healthy mayo from Chosen Foods made with avocado oil. I buy it from Costco and like it a lot. I've seen it, but again,
I'm
she won't try
scared.
anything but Duke's.
I'm just scared. I'm scared.
Because a different mayonnaise is a scary proposition.
Well, if we go there and they have like
And
the people that
she
are like
calls she
offering
calls
you
me nuts for liking Miracle Whip. Just keep that in mind.
because you are. No, if they had the people there that were like, okay, taste this, and then I could taste it and figure out kind of if I liked it or not. But to buy like a whole big jar from Costco, that's a commitment. I don't know. That's a tough one. I love my Dukes, but Desislava, I will try it. If you, Desislava, have you had Dukes? I need to know. I have to know. Thank you, Melissa. You just shut. He's got nothing to say. Just hush. That's it.
What?
The fifth ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. The sixth is sugar. Because you know she's going to look that up.
Okay. Here you go.
What?
Total sugars, 1 gram.
What are you? I can't even see what that is.
That's the ingredients to Miracle Whip.
How do I know? That's
Well,
the
you
Miracle
go
Whip 15. No. Back that up. Back your ass up there. That's the Miracle Whip
15 fluid
15.
ounces.
Nope. Come on. That's the
Ellen,
full mirror.
just admit it. You lost.
Nope.
Total carbs, 2.
Oh,
Saturated
Melissa.
fat, 0.5 gram. Trans fat, 0. It's just as
Melissa
good for
will
you as
take
mayonnaise.
you out. So stop.
Yeah, the
Mm.
fifth ingredient though is just actually a few drops.
Oh, you stop.
1
No.
gram of sugar per tablespoon.
All
Teeny.
right. Whatever.
It's not whatever. That's an actual list.
Mhm.
Contents, nutrition facts as required by law.
All right, the third ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, which is the worst thing in the world for you. Modified cornstarch. Okay. All right. I
Eggs,
need to try
salt,
making mayo mayo
mustard.
with bacon fat. I bet that would be tasty. I promise you it's better than maple syrup pickles that Clay brought home today
It's not
that I
maple
think
syrup, it's maple bourbon pickles. They're spicy and hot.
no, they just taste like maple syrup to me. Ah, Melissa, he's just trying to oh, look, where? Compete with Rob.
How the hell am I trying to compete with Rob?
Because he does the hair fluffy thing.
Oh,
Rob always wears a baseball cap. I wonder if he wears that to work. I
to
don't think
work.
anymore. Okay. I prefer healthier options too, but Duke's, dude, it's so good. Duke's is the best taste. I agree, Jane. It is. It just tastes like it's the best. And Melissa, I will send you some. Trader
Y'all
Joe's
are working this.
mayo. We are zero corn syrup or sugar added, but Clay doesn't like mayonnaise.
Now, how much when you make something with mayonnaise, do I ever complain?
Hmm?
When you make something with mayonnaise, do I eat it?
You will eat it, but you do kind of bitch a little bit.
Oh, I kid you about it, but I don't really complain. I eat it and eat a ton
Mhm.
of it.
Mhm. He's talking about one thing, tuna salad, because I make it better than he does because I use mustard and Dukes and relish and eggs.
Mine actually tastes better than hers, but that's okay. I will eat hers.
You bring it to me and say, "Taste this. Is it okay?" Don't even start that
'Cause I'm
shit with
trying to make something
me.
that you'll eat as well, and when I do it, I make it with mayonnaise. I don't ever make it with Miracle Whip because I know you won't eat it.
Me, me, since I was 19.
Gross.
It's so good.
Gross.
It is not gross. It is, oh my
That's
gosh.
just
I
nasty.
love it. It is the best. It is so tasty.
Jane,
Here's the
soybean oil is terrible for you. I agree, and most like, I think it was Melissa said earlier, high fructose corn syrup is bad
Mhm.
for you. Soybean is bad. Almond oil, almond milk. Y'all seen the ingredients in almond milk, how they make almond milk? You know, it's
Mm-mm.
advertised as a healthier choice,
Almonds
but
don't make milk.
there's just a little bit of old almond pieces that are ground up, squeezed for whatever oil, but the rest of it is crap. It's this different kind of oils and whatever. It is anything but healthy, which was fascinating to me because almond
So it's
milks,
horrible.
oatmeal milk or whatever really is not good for you.
It's not milk.
No.
Okay. We got Guy Ricky. Who is the cook over there? You are not the cook, Clay. How many times do you cook
I'm the
per
chef.
year? Like
She's the
4?
cook.
I cook. You are not the chef. You don't plan crap. Um, oh, oh, who eats fries with ketchup?
That's the
Listen,
way God intended for them to be eaten.
you don't understand, Sky. Like, Clay gets fries and he's like, give me lots of ketchup packets. And he'll put a ketchup, open a ketchup packet, squeeze it in his mouth, and then take a fry. And I'm like, dude, no, that's not how this works. And he's like,
I do that when I'm driving. I don't do that eating and, at a table or whatever. I do it when I'm driving because trying to squeeze the ketchup out on fries while you're driving is a little bit difficult, and sometimes you'll spill it. So, thanks for
The
the
first time
detail, Ellen.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He was like, "How else do you do it when you're driving?" I'm like, "Well, I don't I use mayonnaise, so I don't know. I have no idea
Same
how
thing
all
with the
that
mayonnaise
works."
packet.
Okay. Sky Ricky is laughing out loud. Good. I do
Meli
too. Just some salt. Throw some salt. Okay, there's so many things right now.
if I am driving, I eat
Hang
them
on.
naked.
Oh,
Here's where I wait for
no.
Carson to come and say, "Why do you drive naked when you're eating fries?"
I throw some salt on them and that's it. I know Carson, he must have gone back to work or something. I'm just saying. If you dip your fries in mayo, you what is truff? I've never heard of that.
Is that like a truffle thing? Don't know.
I
Not
don't
sure.
know. Oh God, Carson, hang on. Let's do this one first. That's a good
Guy
first date
Ricky.
question. Did you squeeze the ketchup from the back? I'm sorry, you're killing me. Um, the but however, I do like a little balsamic on my fries sometimes. Is that bad?
Balsamic's good in a lot of ways, a lot of uses. Vastly underappreciated
Mhm.
condiment.
Carson's gonna have fun with that one too.
Yeah, I don't know about the vinegar, Sky Ricky, but I'm gonna let that one go. I mean,
Oh
I'm
my
still
god, I'm
asking,
dying.
I still ask, girls on first date if they take lithium.
Like he asked me, I was like, "What?" Yeah, I fallen behind, but I see comments about almond milk. Remember when someone said Ben and Jerry's should use? Oh, good God, I'm not going there.
I actually remember that. That was a
I
hell of a
don't.
discussion.
Melissa, do you drive through naked?
Or just
Guy, look at you being
wait
snarky like Carson. I like it.
wait till you start driving before you get naked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It's a
truffle
truffle
mayo.
mayo.
Never heard of it. Might
Truffle
have to try it for the hell of it.
is a mushroom, correct?
The fungus, it's in the family, I believe.
Something to do with
Grows
pigs.
grows underground because pigs can detect them,
Sniff them
root
out.
them up. Yeah.
All right.
Back to
Back to
cold
Coke.
crash wine. Sweet wines are typically cold crash because the cold stops the yeast from acting. Okay. I'm not a sweet wine person. Don't like sweet wines at all.
Mm-mm.
If if I do wines, they'll be, cabs, chardonnays, sauvignon.
But the motherfucker eats Miracle Whip, so I have no idea how that makes any sense.
There's a time and a place for everything.
What about drive through naked? He
Now we have Carson's attention.
All right, Melissa. All right, pommes with mayonnaise. Oui, so good.
This is a multicultural show, just in case anybody had doubts.
Yes, and Melissa took French like I did, apparently. A truffle is an edible spore that grows on. There you go. So why can they just sniff them out so quickly?
Their
I
their
know Jane
nose, their
knows
sense of
this,
smell,
but how do you smell something underground? I mean, someone could have taken a crap right on that spot.
probably made the truffle grow better.
Yeah, you fuck. There's fungus among us.
I knew somebody was gonna say that.
Just- she eats naked fries.
No, she eats fries naked. There's a difference.
I thought she said she. Oh, I'm gonna find it. Hang on. Going down, going down. Where did it go? Oh God. Oh, there we go. If I'm driving, I eat them naked. There you go. So Carson can have a freaking field day with that one. But Melissa knew that. She knew what she was signing up for here.
Most everybody I think knows what they're signing up for.
To make naked comments around me. Y'all are hilarious. I do too, because salt is I just ask for a salt packet, throw them on there, and pop them in.
See, that I don't understand, because if you have fries, if they're not very hot and the oil's still liquid, still wet, shiny on them, if they've cooled down just a little bit, if you pour salt on them, it just bounces off. It doesn't stick. It doesn't
Okay, they
stay
got to
on.
be
It
hot.
doesn't
They've
salt
got to
them.
be hot. They've got to
They've
be
got to be
super
hot
hot.
enough for the salt to stick. But most times when people are adding salt, it doesn't stick. So
Oh shit!
I'll give you another.
Did not know that.
I'll give you another secret. When you're driving, if you put ketchup like in the corner of the box, like the hamburger box, you pour the salt in the ketchup. Next. A pig's sense of smell has made them natural underground foragers. Truffles have a signature scent, has musky properties, very similar to the sex hormones found in the saliva of pigs.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
I knew they used pigs because of their, refined sense of smell
Yeah.
and peculiar aptitude to find truffles. I did not know the sex gland saliva kind of thing.
Well, is that, I have to ask Jane, is that similar to the cats where if you scratch like on their mouth here, that's sort of where their sex glands or their glands for the thing? Because cats love that. They love that scratch. I heard that somewhere. And Mahoney loves it, but she's become a little hooker by now.
We probably have the most interesting audience in all the internets.
We have the funnest audience.
Carson, back to milks. I like making my own coconut milk. It's just a lot of work. I thought you were going to say you like making your own breast milk.
That is what he's saying. Goofball.
Got to give those fast employees something to add extra fries to her bag.
Food job. Oh God. Carson, you're a mess. We've gotten to pig spit and ketchup.
We have
I know, right?
successfully derailed.
I think it might be. I think it is. Oh shit. Wait, sorry. I'm out of line. I mean, out of order. At least it's pig spit, not spit. I don't even know what that is, and I'm not gonna ask.
Don't know if we want to know.
I'm kidding. You're cracking me up tonight. Y'all are hilarious. I think everybody needs a little bit of laughter these days because everything has been so freaking insane in the world.
It is always a good medicine.
Yep. I do guarantee that Jane will probably get back to me with that about the cats to let me know. Because they have this, I mean, when they rub their mouth on something, it's to release a hormone onto it, say it's mine. I think that's the same. Crazy. Love you guys. Y'all are the best.
Just when we have 2 new members, looks like we might scare them. Apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize. This is, sometimes we just need to laugh.
That's part of right. It's really kind of like y'all's
Jane.
night. We'll go in any direction y'all want to go.
Yeah, this is like whatever y'all
And
want to
Kat,
talk
don't
about
know.
and
Next
do.
time I'm in bed, I'll ask her.
Oh, geez, Dino Dogs.
This is a great opportunity to plug the book club, which will meet a
Next
week
week.
from tonight,
Mm-hmm.
7:00. We'll post a Zoom link on the community page. The book is Raptor Red. I was going to say written by Melissa, but heartily endorsed,
Yes.
strongly, enthusiastically, intensely recommended by Melissa, our very own Melissa Simcock. Now,
Simmock.
sorry.
Get it right, Clay. Come on.
I don't know why I do that. I look at things real quick. Quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My mind goes faster than my tongue,
Often.
and it often gets me in somewhat of a bind. Anyway, Raptor Red, 7:00. Check the community page that morning. We'll post a Zoom link. We want everybody to be able to participate, join, talk. If you don't want to have your picture live, you don't have to. You still can use your nickname. Protect your identity if that's ever a concern. We know some people do have some privacy concerns when it comes to the internet, and we respect that. But it's just a better format for everybody to have a chance to talk. The chat's a little bit long to type out, and sometimes it gets behind and it's a little bit harder to follow the threads. So
we'd rather hear you in your thoughts, but you can stay anonymous if you'd like. But, we like to discuss the things and make things light. And this has been a book that has, oh my God, here we go again. Anyway,
Melissa has
the
tried for 3
16th,
months to get this book in the club, so we finally
I made the executive decision. I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
No vote. We're doing it.
Didn't put it up to a poll. We usually will ask for suggestions, put it up for a poll vote, but this one was just the choice to go with it.
Yeah, Melissa's been here since the beginning, and we love her. Oh, shit.
Well, Carson, you're obviously not trying enough.
Hard enough. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to, really grab and torque that udder. And Carson, if you're offering, no, we don't.
I do want to know. What is it? What is it? Clay's like, I ain't saying. Do you know, Clay? You're not saying, or you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm not
Carson, you're going to
saying.
have to, you got to educate us. Edumacate us. Yeah, Melissa will be so mad at you if you don't. Oh my, Carson, you have to be there. You have 1 week.
I think this book on Amazon, this is a new book, was $7, something like that. So it in some formats it's available free. So because we always try to find books that are relatively inexpensive or free or available in the general what do you call that library that has all the books that have come off the bookmark? I forget the name of it, but
I don't know. Melissa's mad. Melissa mad. Carson, come on. Seriously? She's been pushing this since we started book club. You cannot let Melissa down. You have to be there. You got to read it. You got to do the things.
Got to do the things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Melissa mad. She's going to tear you up.
All right.
What do you guys want to talk about? But I mean, we're gosh, having fun.
Should I get back to don't worry, be happy?
I don't know. Ask. It's their night. This is what we do this for. They can be as rude or as whatever. Oh God. Oh, for fuck's sake. Carson. Carson, you are in trouble. You are in so much trouble. Yes. Okay. Oh, shit. Back on track. 1 hour later.
All right.
One girl caught doing that. Stampede. All right, back on track. We're back.
We're going back on track now. Talking about got an image in my mind that probably is not going anywhere soon, but that's okay. Talking about Justin Wolfers, economist, wrote an article, New York Times, don't worry, be happy. Talking about inflation shouldn't be a problem for you, that, basically your salary has gone up as much as inflation. So net, you're unchanged. You should be indifferent. Okay. And, showing the ivory tower thing, demonstrating that I may be well. You thought the ivory tower thing was mythical.
Can I kind of make a little? Sometimes it is. It's just fun to have fun because everything is so serious these days, and play with it. Work all day teaching students and doing the things, and sometimes it's just fun to freaking laugh. And
yeah, I get here sometimes a little ragged as it is.
It's not hard to get us into slap happy.
Yeah. So Wolfers, his main point kind of was centered around this graph.
Wolfers was who again?
Economist at Michigan. Okay. Arguing that you should be indifferent to inflation because your wages have gone up as much. And he uses this chart to buttress his point. The blue line is the index cost of inflation. Starts off at 100 here in December of 2019. So it's taking that $100. And what would that same $100 cost today? Well, with inflation, it would cost $122.
That's not fair.
He says, using this chart, that the average hour, vice versa, it costs 121. Average hourly earnings have gone from 100 to 122. So they have, according to him, kept up with inflation.
All right, hang on. We got to pause. Jane, I do understand because today at work, my last F went out the window. Get that? Thank heavens for 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
2 weeks.
All right, there's an actual economic conversation. Y'all kill me. Y'all crack me up. This is like, seriously.
Yeah, we don't actually always focus on barbecue.
That we can like fuck around and find out here. It's just like whatever y'all want to talk about, y'all can keep us laughing and we'll keep you laughing, or get serious, or whatever it is. We honestly, this is y'all's night. So, and we come up with stuff if y'all don't have anything. I needed that. Good. I hope we have made you laugh and everyone has made you laugh, because it has been a funny little thing we got going on.
We have laughed. We have laughed. For sure.
Because it's funny. Okay, so what are we looking at here? I can't tell. I can't see what the red and the blue are and what's going on.
This is a chart of CPI in the blue, and the red is the average hourly earnings. So this average hourly earnings
is the blue. No,
is the red.
The CPI is the consumer price line.
Right. Is the publicly announced rate of inflation. Now, the problem with this graph is, one, the data collection method, which we won't go into. But secondly, this graph conveniently ignores that you actually have this is average earnings, but it ignores that you actually have fewer people working, native born Americans. Remember, we talked about how native born Americans have lost jobs the past 5 years, while
Mhm.
illegal immigrants have gained all the jobs. So the monies that the immigrants are getting, a lot of that is just sent overseas, is not spent domestically. So it kind of changes what the actual impact and all is. Anyway, and their lower wages generally often aren't included in this because a lot of that is cash, and employers are not going to report that they're paying off the books. So the lower wages here aren't reflected. That's one problem. Second, most Americans are working fewer hours or working more jobs. They may have 2 or 3 jobs now, whereas in 2019, they only had the one job. If we look at what I would consider a more appropriate measure, which is actually disposable income, real disposable income, and this is for the nation, this isn't per person, this is billions of dollars. So in December of 2019, which is our starting point, it was about 15.9. Well, over the past 5 years, it has risen to about 16.9. So it's up $1 billion. Okay, that's not a bad increase. But if you divide that by the number of workers, the number of Americans in the country, not workers, the number of Americans in the country, you come out to 49,000 per person, which hasn't changed. It's 48 and change, 49 and change. It hasn't changed, which is why most economists will talk about the average family who made 67,000 5 years ago now need an additional $13,000 in income just to maintain the same standard of living. So the devil's always in the details. My point is that he's showing average hourly workings, which that number has been skewed because of shifts and changes in the labor force. In terms of total amount in earned after taxes and after inflation, it really hasn't changed, but you've got more people working.
All right, we have a person in Canada. We have a temporary foreign worker program. We do too, HB2 or H2, which they often send their money back to their families as they let them bring their families here and keep more money here. I don't think that's how that works, Clay.
Um, a lot of them, and we don't have exact percentages. We don't have good data, but we know just from, practical reality and looking at electronic transmissions that a lot of money, and it can be cash, it can be Bitcoin. A lot of them are using Bitcoin now because it's faster and cheaper.
Wait, to
So
pay their employees?
no, their employees get paid in cash. So they take it to a Bitcoin ATM, put the cash in, and then transfer it back to El Salvador, Guatemala, wherever they're from, China, Iran, wherever.
Okay.
Because it only takes about 10 minutes. The fees are far lower, and they can take that Bitcoin and exchange it immediately into their local currency. And so it doesn't take a week or 2 weeks to arrive.
And I think one of the problems too is that there are several things to end the if your parents moved here illegally on not even asylum, like you're just awaiting a court date, you do not get automatic rights to citizenship, which has been the case in the past. And I think that is probably a very good policy. Everybody's going to hate me for this, but I mean, you can't, if your parents are here not on asylum, if they are here for some other reason that has not been proved yet, but it's going to take 10 years to get them into court, and you're born here, you do not get to just become an automatic citizen because your parents who aren't citizens are using your status to get government benefits and welfare and taking from taxpayers' money. Does that make sense?
No.
What do you
You
mean? Oh,
you always ask, "Does it make sense?" And I just wanted to always go, "No," so I just went ahead and went, "No."
thank you.
Most people will, try to argue that, illegal immigrants can't get Social Security, for example, can't qualify for disability and whatever other payments. Actually, they can get Social Security if
Oh, yeah.
they apply for asylum. Once they're granted asylum, they can then qualify for Social
No,
Security.
no, they
Yes.
can just apply for asylum and they get Social Security, and their children who are born here automatically qualify them for um, Medicare, Medicaid benefits.
SNAP,
Yep,
etc.
yep.
So there are ways around the system in which the undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants, whatever, actually are costing the taxpayers. An estimate a year ago by
Billions.
the House committee was $495 billion a year. And these are benefits and monies that aren't available to American citizens, which
I would
is
love to apply for
fascinating.
for asylum, Melissa. It's like they're getting more benefits than American taxpayers, and we're paying for them to get those benefits. And I think that is insane. Insane.
Yeah, especially when it's
We
not available to US citizens.
when
Same
Americans
benefit.
can't yeah, when Americans can't get benefits for themselves and veterans are being kicked out of their homes
And
and
hospitals.
yeah, and but we're taking in immigrants. I'm sorry, but that is just so wrong. That is backwards, upside down, and it's total bullshit. Like, I don't want anyone's taxpayer money to go to these people. But I mean, hell, who do you think is paying for the $10,000 cash cards to every single immigrant in New York? You
Well,
are.
it's not only New York, it's Chicago, it's LA. The immigrants are being put up in hotels, 3, 4-star hotels. They're getting room service. They're getting um, maid service. They're getting free laundry. They're getting
Oh,
childcare. They
yeah.
get Medicaid, and they get these visa cards. Anybody crossing the border that the Customs Bureau comes in contact with, they give them a cell phone and a $5,000 visa card. Then in addition, they're put up in these hotel rooms. They're given a free plane ticket anywhere they want to go or to different cities. Then when they
Mhm.
get in the city, they're put up in the hotels, get all the room service, get the food, get the $10,000 card. How many poor Americans get that kind of treatment? And you've got
None.
more Americans than ever before working multiple jobs. So why are these people working multiple jobs, paying taxes, high taxes, in order to allow non-citizens to live for free in nice hotels? Does that sound just or fair, however you define fair?
No, but people shouldn't use their people are working for their Social Security, which is in a shithole right now. Medicare, which is in a shithole right now. Everyone's paying into this in the United States, and I'm sorry, but there's a very small chance that any of us, especially Gen X, absolutely Gen Z, millennials, all the things, they're not gonna see any of it. But you've paid into it and it's just gone. If the government had not stolen that money a long time ago, in the '70s when they had so much excess, and if they would have invested it, no brainer. But that's not what they did.
Well, the beautiful thing that people don't think about is the future. What happens when these benefits are cut off to these millions of people? A Yale and FAIR study last year estimated there are not 8 million illegal immigrants in the country, but 22 million, at least 22 million. So, what happens when the money is cut off to these people? And all of a sudden, they've got kids, family, they have no place to stay. They were used to nice accommodations, they were used to abundance of food, and that's cut off. What do you think their reaction is going to be when that's cut off? Do you think they're just peaceably going to, go move out on the streets, or, probably wander back across the borders, back to their homes or whatever? I keep saying chaos is coming, and that's just one aspect to it. Um, but getting back to inflation, Wolfers talked about how, hey, you shouldn't be bothered. I showed some data here using real disposable income that shows that your income hasn't changed while prices have soared. But let me ask you personally, has your standard of living, your ability to afford your life changed over the past 4 or 5 years? I've had people tell me on this show that they've had to give up some of the food they were buying. They've had to give up memberships to like Costco, even though it may save money in the long run, affording the big bulk purchases, the membership, all that, just, simply can't do it anymore.
All right, I've
So,
got to hang on one sec. I've got a crime puppy.
okay,
I've got to go, and I will be right with you shortly because it's
okay,
easier just to go in your room than come back up here.
no problem. See you in a
All right.
minute. Yeah, we have to take care of crying puppies. That is, as many of you know on the show who have pets, rank high on this show. But, has your standard of living changed? Practical reality here. Has your standard of living changed over the past 5 years? Have you, or are you able to maintain what you had 5 years ago? Are you, able to improve upon it? For the vast majority of Americans, their living standard has been impaired. For the poor, generally been impaired pretty damn significantly. Middle class, impaired significantly. So, but the beauty of it all is that Wolfers isn't done. He's not done. There's a reason why this guy is being paid well into six figures. I don't know what he may make on, consulting or off the books, but as far as his university, Michigan salary and chair, he's probably in the 400 to 500 range, somewhere around there. Not bad money. But he talks about how people internalize. They internalize the gain and externalize the pain. Hold on just a second. Ellen, can you pull that door too?
I'll be in, but
Yeah, it's just all the noise. So, yeah, the dogs get a little excited. Chunk's got a new squeaky toy, so sorry about that. But he uses, great, great academic language. Somebody was talking about word salad earlier. Behaviorist in finance will talk about internalizing something, externalizing cost. He talks about internalizing the gains. What does he mean by that? Well, when you get a raise, you may think, hey, I got a raise because I'm a great employee and they're finally, recognizing my contribution. And then you kind of start to realize, well, no, this is just same raise everybody else got. It's a cost of living increase. But there's a part of you that wants to take credit for it, internalize. The losses, the higher cost you see that you pay for goods and services, you externalize. You see those as being out of your control due to forces and powers, beyond your influence. It's not, it's nothing that you did or can take credit for. The world hates me kind of thing and is penalizing me. So here's his quote: internalizing the gain, externalizing the cost of inflation protects you from this deflating realization. It also distorts your sense of reality. So if you're not happy, if you don't think you're doing just as well, your sense of reality is distorted. I find that amazing. The reason so many Americans feel that inflation is stealing their purchasing power, not that it really is stealing your purchasing power, but you just feel it is. It's in your head, it's in your imagination, is that they give themselves an earned credit for the offsetting wage increases that actually restore it. How many Americans have had their salaries and wages increased 25, 30, 40% over the past few years to cover the increase in inflation? I would just kind of hazard a guess that very, very, very few have, particularly with companies laying off people left and right. For those who he goes on, he continues, for those who remember the great inflations of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, have lived through many cycles of prices rising and wages following. They understand the deal. Inflation makes life more difficult for a bit, but you're only ever one cost of living adjustment away from catching up. That's beautiful. That is just a beautiful, I think Carson described it as a word salad. Simple reality is almost nobody gets a cost of living increase. I'll refer to them as COLAs, cost of living adjustment. Almost nobody gets a COLA that makes them whole. And secondly, the COLAs come a year or 2 years after inflation has hammered you. So you've gone a year or two before you get the adjustment for the prior year. And that adjustment will probably be smaller than what the actual inflation that you experienced was. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Plus, you're a year over. You're a additional year behind. Does that make sense? So you've got inflation going this year, which you're getting the adjustment for a year prior to this year, to last year.
Okay, so I had the weirdest experience. You can't see me.
Let me just finish. So the COLAs never make you whole. Never, because they're not in time. They are always delayed and can be delayed, like I say, 2 years. Most, the poor, the middle class, don't even get them. The COLAs, if you do get one, generally are far smaller than the actual inflation you increase. It doesn't correct for the actual inflation rate that you experienced. And we haven't even started talking about changes to the inflation calculation, changes to the way inflation is calculated. Now, Ellen wanted to say something, so I'll let her jump in here.
I went outside to let Chunk and Tallulah out, and there's a woman I've never seen before in my life, walking a dog I've never seen before, and knew Chunk's name.
Cool.
What?
Chunk's a legend.
Apparently, he is like
dude's a legend.
The human. And yes, and yes, Cass is here.
Now was talking about changes to the way inflation is calculated. The BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Bureau of Economic Affairs, they've changed the calculation for inflation, how inflation is calculated in 1978, 1987, 1999, 2018, and as recently as 2023. Each time, the calculation has been changed. The net result is to lower the rate of inflation given the same inputs. For example, they'll implement things like they call it a hedonic regression for quality adjustments. If you buy a TV now versus a TV 20 years ago, TV now has Bluetooth and better screen and all this stuff. Price is probably about the same. You might have paid $2,000 for a TV years ago. You might pay $2,000 for a nice one now. Price may not have changed, but the quality has changed. So they have this adjustment for that. They don't exactly tell you how they do it or how much the adjustment is or the process they use. They just tell you that they do one. But there's more. They include effects for substitution bias. They assume changes in your spending patterns. For example, if the price on items go up, they're going to assume that even though you were buying a more expensive item, that you now buy the absolute cheapest item, even if it's not available to you. They're always making adjustments in the surveys, in the information they gather and how they interpret it.
Don't the cheapest items come from China usually?
Oh, just wherever, doesn't matter. They will just take the absolute cheapest item and substitute. It's like Ellen, Duke's mayonnaise. Do you think if inflation prices of Duke's mayonnaise go up 30%, there's another mayonnaise that only went up 20%? Do you think she's going to buy that mayonnaise?
I could.
Not only no, but hell no. It's not happening. You're not giving up Duke's.
Carson, tell your eldest that we said hello.
Appreciate you jumping in, Carson. Thank you, sir.
We love your derailments.
Some of them. So,
we got squeaky. Sorry.
Yeah. Some of these adjustments that they make just aren't real world. People, may need a certain product because of allergies or, like detergents. Some detergents will irritate some people's skin, others don't. They have to buy the kind that, they're not allergic to.
The problem though is like, what is it that made you allergic? There are so many foods that have so many chemicals.
Yeah, we're just talking about inflation.
Okay.
Not that Ellen's trying to derail us again.
Well, Carson's not here.
I know.
And Carson is a good dad. You are a good dad, Carson.
You are. Practical reality. How many of you honestly think your food expenses are up only 20% over the past 5 years?
None.
I mean, I've been buying groceries for a few years, few decades, and I pretty much, buy the same stuff every week, every couple of weeks. And I know that I used to be able to buy stuff and, $40. Now it's 120. That's not 20%.
No.
Now we've switched stores, we started buying, some different stuff. That's helped. But
and Trader Joe's.
But, I just look at the price of things and it's just stupid. I just feel bad paying that much. And so, try to find ways just to not waste money.
Well, even in 2021, when eggs were not they were super expensive, and for 12 eggs, they were charging $14.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a woman in the grocery store and she was like, yeah, I just can't. I can't afford 12 eggs.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me.
It's just stupid. Absolutely stupid. So, most people that I talk to, even the students, 21, 22, 23-year-old students that have just been buying their own groceries for a few years, they're shocked at how much things have increased since they've had to be buying their own groceries. Jane, their working families have to go to the food bank now because they simply don't have enough money for groceries.
Yeah.
I would say that's a pretty big change in spending habits. Wofer's point is, hey, it all comes out in the wash. You're still net where you were. I honestly don't see how anybody can make that argument with a straight face.
I agree, Sky. I mean, I think Clay and I are trying to both, each of us separately, trying to get back to that where we can. We've got an avocado plant, we've got lemons, we've got all kinds of stuff, but it's like we need to get back to living on farms where we can grow our own food and be self-sustainable.
Yeah, I'm going to find a nice farm, and when they leave to go, when they leave the house, I'm just going to move in. Like
Squat.
if they
Yeah.
go out to work for the day, doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and just move in the house and squat.
Yep. Sky, Ricky, all y'all, Carson, Melissa, Jane, you're all welcome to come.
And squat with us.
Mm-hmm.
Carson, just make sure your thighs are in good shape.
Oh, good God.
Okay, we don't want any whiny ass
so weird
mechanics around. Yeah, and I've encouraged people repeatedly to try to find ways to grow, produce, whatever, some of their own food, to learn basic things to help them get through. Jane, I live on a homestead. I grow extra food so I can give it to my neighbors who know I don't have enough money to buy groceries. That's a great thing.
We're going to I'm going to call you and find out exactly how you did that, what you do, what's the best way to do those things, because that is so important. But Clay and I are trying to get to that point, and just, it's not expensive to do the homestead thing. Not nearly as expensive as going to the grocery store, trying to find good stuff, trying to find your food, trying to do, Jane, I will, just trying to survive. And that's going to be very important here soon.
Yeah. In previous houses, now I live on an island. So, small lots, everybody's kind of, crammed in. But prior to this, most every house I've had, I've always had, a garden, and I've always gardened some. I enjoy it, have enjoyed it. Gave it up when I was here, and I worked a lot my first few years. So don't have the opportunity here to do a whole lot, but I've been trying to study some of the more modern gardening techniques and complementary crops, and much more aware or attuned to trying to grow without using, pesticides and fungicides, those kind of things. Trying to study techniques to do that. So things have gotten a lot more complex, just in the 10 years since I had my hands in the dirt. So trying to study, do a lot of study and, thinking about how to lay things out, what animals, I'm a meat eater. I know some of you aren't, but, looking at the difference between meat rabbits, chickens, may do both.
But
whatever.
He wants Highland cows, which he could never, ever, ever.
I will have some Highland cows, some at least miniature Highland cows.
But he wants them as pets.
They're just so damn cute. Yeah, I may have some other, meat cows or whatever, but
some milk cows and milk goats.
Gonna have some Highland cows just for pets, like she said. I'll name them. I can't eat something I name, but nonetheless,
you're gonna name everything you have.
Probably.
So I would be curious, Jane. Like, do you name your animals? And because Clay will just lose his mind if he has to kill something he names.
Nah. I
Yes, you
mean,
will.
I wouldn't like doing it, but if it's a matter of,
Life and
getting
death.
food, you know, it's going to happen. Whoops. Understand you can't have everything on your farm. You have to learn to barter with other people.
Well, that's kind of why we created this whole Clay was an ex surgical assistant, so he can do surgery. We've got sutures, we've got injectable lidocaine, we have the things that we could barter um with food. Say, okay, well, we can sew up your wound. It's so important.
Yeah, and I'm, even in terms of bartering, if chaos really starts getting worse, I think you'll see everybody just start to clam up and try to protect their own. Those who don't have enough will be on the prowl. And so
Sky.
there are. Let's go through some of these. Melissa, we really ought to do a road trip. That would be hilarious. Now, I don't know.
You can't road trip to Scotland.
You kind of can.
Well, you can.
But I love Scotland.
They too.
Yeah,
It's both of our ancestry.
I would move there if it weren't for the damn winters, and the darkness. I love the people. I love the land. I love, even the food I enjoy. Some of the best chili I ever had was a haggis chili. It was really good.
Oh, that's tough.
But yeah, and I love Highland cows. They're just so amiable, and
he sends me pictures of them. He's like, "Look at this cute cow."
Have y'all seen the little mini ones?
Oh, good Lord. Can you share that?
Well, if I can get a decent picture of it.
Just go back to where you were. There you go. Now. Nope. No.
I'm getting all sorts of pop-ups here. Hold on.
Your wallpaper. You're on Mr. Wallpaper.
Ellen.
You are. I'm just saying.
Ellen.
Yes.
Here you go.
Such a cute little shit.
That is a full-grown
mini cow.
Mini Highland cow. I don't know what I'd name him, but it'd be something.
Buster.
Be like, death.
No.
Plague.
You would, yeah.
Jane, you can't name your animals, and no, I don't, because I get sad. When I was little, my father had to unalive a few of the animals for us to eat. Yeah, you can't name your food. That's why I say, and these little mini cows, there's just not a lot of food there. But in terms of controlling some of the pastures, providing fertilizer, when you
chocolate pudding,
that kind of thing.
This man who is 6'3", okay, he is intimidating as hell, but he loves these little babies. He's just like, and he's not really all that intimidating. He just presents himself that way at times. But anyway.
Can you give me a facelift?
After he gives me one. He'll give you one. He's practiced.
I was going to say, I'm a little rusty. I remember the basic idea. Separate and stretch. Trim and reattach.
So I will look like the Elephant Man, and then he can do yours.
But yeah, I don't guarantee the results. And yes, that's why we have the 2A. If I am right and things are headed to a more and more chaotic state, which I'm not prophesying that, I'm not predicting that. All I'm saying is that looking at the current trends, if they are not abruptly interrupted, things are going to get more chaotic. So that's a subtle difference. But yes, the 2A could be much more important than it is even today. I'm currently a pescatarian, but if the day came when I would have to kill to eat, I'm an instant vegetarian.
Hey, we live on the coast, Melissa. You come right here, and I will catch all the fish you want. Okay, you got to have some protein. But the cow, though.
The cows. I've been thinking about making a haggis for green bean.
Oof.
I know it's great and chili. That's all I can say.
I had it in something else, and
Name him chocolate pudding. I'd probably just call him pudding.
you would.
But yes, they're just cute as hell. And they're just friendly. They just want to be rubbed. They're like a big ass Morky.
They're like a big ass chunk.
Yeah. They just want to be rubbed and played with.
So would Clay.
Yeah.
That's yeah. He'd be like,
Yeah. I saw that. I just, I've seen them live, real ones, live ones. And they're just like, that is the coolest thing. I have got to get me one of those. Nowhere in the hell to put it.
he
But
could
I
just
want
bring it in the
one.
house.
Yeah,
That's
but I
not even
want
a deal.
one.
Barking at
The cow.
GB, you're the best.
GB has good taste in friends. But really, they're just as good natured as they can be. Not a mean bone there. Now there's some cows, some heifers, particularly when they have calves, they can get mean. I had an aunt that was killed by a cow, was
Don't call
trampled
me-
to death.
Don't call me a heifer.
I had an aunt that was killed by a cow. Stomped her to death because she was
awful.
trying to help the calf. So, when you're dealing with a, 1,000-pound animal,
That's a lot. But that's like
you need
80
to
pounds.
exercise some care.
100 pounds.
But in these, and just seeing and talking to some of the farmers in and around Scotland, some of those that have them, they're just never aggressive. They're just gentle natured, little, big, affable creatures. So, got to admit, I do have a little bit of a bias for them. They're
think-
Scottish anyway.
I think I call them score, like a score bar that has like the toffee in it.
No, pudding. Even Melissa agrees.
Okay, fine.
And Melissa, it's Southern. It's not pudding. It's pudding.
She's California. Leave her alone.
Jane, I believe that. I've seen cows turn on people. Yeah. And they really don't have to hate you. They're just so big, so strong that if they just, are trying to teach you some manners or something, they can do some damage.
Well, you don't want to ever, as any of you who are mothers know, you don't want to fuck with Mama Bear because we will fuck you up.
Yeah, but I've seen a deal where a cow let her calf get down in a little drainage ditch.
Let her or didn't know, and then it was
Well, whatever. The calf was down in there drowning, couldn't get out, struggling, getting tired. And so, you have to go down in the ditch, the mud, everything, try to get the calf out and hope as you're carrying the calf up the hill that the mother doesn't kill you.
Well, because she's scared.
Well,
She wants to help, but she's terrified. If any mothers know this.
yeah, all she sees is you holding the calf and the calf's scared and shaking. And she just somehow they don't make sometimes the connection that you're actually helping the calf.
You know what the Sioux Indians call cows?
Cows.
Dumb buffalo.
Yeah.
I like mini ponies as well. They're cute.
And have y'all ever heard the difference between cows and buffalo in a storm? Don't know if y'all know this or not, but cows, when a big thunderstorm is approaching, will run away from it. It scares them. They want to get away from it. So they actually end up, as the storm is coming and they're running, they're actually in the storm for a longer time. Buffalo will run into the storm. so they are not in it as long.
Cows, dumb buffalo.
So that actually makes sense.
Yep. Mini pony.
Mini ponies are cute too. Donkeys, if you have a good-natured donkey.
I have one, a jackass, right here.
I've been called worse. My only problem with jackasses is sometimes they'll like kill little dogs or cats, and they're just cruel. They'll
A
just,
donkey?
yeah, I've seen one just take the cat and just spin it.
That's awful.
Yeah,
No,
they're
no, you
they're
don't have to
cruel.
share all that stuff.
They're good with coyotes. They
Yeah,
hate coyotes. They
Coyotes are
hate,
terrified of them.
yeah, they hate wolves. So they're good at protecting herds or flocks. But if you've got a small dog or a cat, you got to be concerned, little careful there.
Oh, we always visit a pony farm and they're adorable. Yes, I know.
Jane, our Great Dane was 1 inch shorter than my pony growing up. It's like having a pony in the house.
Speaking of ponies in the house,
Thor.
yeah,
Yeah, Thor is I rescued a Irish wolfhound. He was about 8 months when I got him, and his tail was just chewed up, bloody mess. He'd been kept in an 8-foot pen. He got water thrown at him once a day.
that was a 6 foot when he was.
He was in an 8-foot pen
Okay,
enclosure.
I thought it was a 6 foot.
So
That's what I'm saying.
think of something like, a little bit bigger than a king size bed. That's where he spent his life.
And he's bigger than a Great Dane.
And so yeah, he's still haven't seen him in a little while, but was still close to him. I actually had a good friend of mine adopt him permanently. I traveled too much. I was gone a lot, or would be gone a lot. So I didn't really think or consider about adopting him permanently. When I go to the office, I may be there 6, 7, 8, 12 hours. So I'm not really good having pets living by myself.
Yeah, but you took him when he was on. His owner was away, and you were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'll watch him."
I kept him for a week or two because his owner was traveling, and a friend of the owner knew me. And that's when I saw him and the condition and health and everything. So when the owner came back, I had a heart-to-heart talk with him. And about a week later, he came back and said, "You're right." And so he surrendered him to me.
Do you have that video of he and Lou?
Yeah, somewhere. I'll dig it up, but not right now.
No, but he is the sweetest. Like every time he sees Clay, he is the happiest damn dog.
Yeah.
He just loves Clay. Clay saved his life. I mean,
Well, I miss him. I would have loved to have kept him, but with my lifestyle and everything, then I was able to keep him for, was out of school for 4 months. So really wasn't a huge problem in that regard. I didn't travel that summer, obviously. But as school was about to start, I took him into work.
that's a great
And
story. I love this.
yeah, if he was on his back legs, he was his head would be over the top of a refrigerator.
He would get treats off the top of the refrigerator.
Yeah. So, in fact, Irish wolfhounds are sight animals, and I really didn't appreciate that enough. It was like the second night we were home, or he was here, went out on the front porch with him. And this was 11:30, 12:30 at night. I don't know exactly. And I was just out in my skivvies and a t-shirt, letting him do his business. And, I've got steps to the front of my house, and we stopped on the front porch, and I didn't notice it, but there was a couple of deer right across the street, and they were frozen. And they saw Thor and ran. Now, sight hound means that if they stood still, Thor probably wouldn't care a whole lot. But anything that's running, if he sees movement, he's going toward it. So the deer take off. Thor has been at my house for 2 days. Doesn't really know where he lives. Takes off. And he's 140 pounds. I'm not stopping him.
And
So
he's faster than you
and
are.
he's fast. So he's running down the street. I'm running down, yelling at him like a madman.
In
My
your
bare
skivvies.
feet in my skivvies, and you just see the lights on all the houses down the street go on. He runs into this patch of woods chasing the deer, and I'm sitting there at the corner yelling for him. Finally, he comes out another hole. I grab him by the collar, and we're walking back, and my neighbors are out on their porch, and I'm just sitting there waving to him like a beauty pageant as I'm going out. So that's how Thor got introduced to the neighborhood. Well, fast forward 5 months, and I'm taking him into school, and basically, I didn't really try to teach him a whole lot, some basic commands, but I really just wanted him to learn how to be a dog again because he was a little neurotic. The first
Very.
time I gave him water, he just attacked it like he knew he only had this one chance to get water. Same with food. And he was skittish around people. So just wanted to teach him, let him be a dog and just, calm down and get a little sense of peace about himself, get his tail unbloodied.
And just be calm.
Yeah, and just be calm.
Everything's okay.
So, made some progress on that and took him into work before classes started. And so he was going into everybody's office and just saying, "Hey, big old friendly hunk." Well, one of the guys that I work with,
he scares the hell out of a lot of people because he's so tall and big, and his head is at least the size of mine.
Yeah. I mean, big head, big jaws. They were made to hunt wolves. If you've ever seen Roman iconography, if they have a dog of war, it looks just like the Irish wolfhound. So hence I gave him the name Thor, god of war, dog, whatever. Anyway.
Kind of your thing.
Yeah. Well, Pete loved him and wanted him.
Pete was a professor at Clay.
And problem is he had a chocolate lab that was on his last legs, and his wife wasn't sure she wanted another dog. So he talked to her for a week or two. Finally, kind of said, okay, bring him over for a night. Let's see how it goes. So I took him over one evening, and, Pete had several kids, met a couple of the kids, and one of them was sick upstairs. So they took Thor upstairs to meet the sick child. Thor sniffs him a couple of times, climbs in bed with his 140-pound dogs, probably, over 7 feet on his back legs, probably a good 3.5, 4 feet at his haunches.
Yeah.
And he climbs in bed with this kid, lays down, and stays there the whole night. Won't leave his side. So in the morning, the wife is like,
guess what Mama said?
Yeah. Guess what Mama said? In the morning, she goes up and sitting there looking at him in the bed. Pete comes to her and she said, "He's ours."
Mm-hmm.
And so, they decided to keep him, and they live, a mile or two from here. So every once in a while I'll go pick him up for the day or, take him to the park or whatever.
But during the day he hangs out with chickens. He has chickens.
They have chickens in their backyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
how cool is that? This big ass dog that has chickens laying on top of him, beside him. He's like, I like my chickens, man.
Yeah. He's probably up to 160, 170 now. And they have kept him lean. They are vegan, largely vegan.
Yep.
And
so he gets no meat.
He'll feed him a little bit occasionally. But, I'm sitting there thinking he's 6 years old, which is quote unquote old for a wolfhound.
Yeah, 8 to 10 is like the age range.
6 to 8.
6 to 8. Okay.
Yeah. But he's still in good health, and being on the lean side has probably been better for his joints.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this dog could be 200, 220 pounds. Easy.
Be a beast.
Big chest, big barrel chest. But it's probably better for him that he's, a little bit leaner. Probably better for his health and his joints. So he's doing well. The chocolate lab that was on its last legs actually gained a second wind, and he lived another 3 or 4 years.
And Tallulah, our little 7-pound Morkie, little white one, she and Thor would play and run around the pond out here and play on the beach and do all the things. And he was always so gentle with her because
Yeah.
he knew she was tiny. And he would just kind of get down and let her like jump on him. And
Yeah, and they would
grab
run and
his
chase.
ears.
She was a lot quicker than he was, but on the straightaway, obviously he could catch up to her pretty quick, run past her. So it actually helped him learn to balance and cut and run a lot better.
But she loved it. She loved
Yeah.
playing with a big old dog like that. She was just like, ha ha, I can get away from you.
Yeah.
But it was so cute.
It was cute to see him run. I've got a video of him. Got a couple videos of them. I'll see if I can find them and put them up one evening, but I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, it's so much fun to watch. Just this huge dog play with this little tiny 7-pound dog. Not Pug Joey was. Okay, first of all, spell check. She meant spell check like pudding, not pudding.
But you got to use a Southern spell checker, Melissa. Pudding is the correct form.
And Jane said, good for you. Yes.
Love Great Danes. My pug Joey was a wolfhound in a former life. We spent together. His bane was George then.
Oh.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is, Chunk is reminding me, we have a new thing. Chunk does not do things well. This is not Chunk, obviously. He's down here. He does not ride well at all, right?
He gets car sick.
Very car sick, vomiting like you can't go a mile. So we're trying, he's gotten to 3. I don't know. Taking him, he and I went on a walk yesterday at
Toulouse.
a Civil War monument.
Yeah.
Around Sugarloaf in Carolina Beach. And I get him a toy.
Focus, Ellen.
I am. So, I'm sorry. He's looking at me and I'm throwing it. It's like, I'm that toy. And then today we went to the pet store because I'm trying to do like smaller adventures with him so that he can and we found whatever. Dead turtle.
Okay. Long story short, is she's taking him on small car rides, short car rides, and getting him a treat so he's excited to go in car rides rather than dreading it and thinking about the nausea and the sickness and everything. We're trying to teach him to see if we can get past the car sickness.
Melissa,
So
did he get car sickness due to motion sickness or we don't know. I'm trying to get rid of the anxiety factor because when we give him trazodone, that's what the vet said to give him when he travels, but he just gets real sleepy and relaxed. So I'm thinking it is motion and anxiety.
Yeah. And we're just trying to kind of change his outlook and build up his tolerance, his comfort with, being in the car and going for rides and seeing if that helps any. Now, if we take a long trip, we'll still probably go with the trazodone to be safe. But, riding around town or whatever, like we try to take him down to the beach. We're 2 blocks off the beach as the crow flies. He would still sometimes look like he was about to throw up. So we're just yeah.
We're like, okay, this is tough. We gotta calm this down. But I mean, age is a thing. It does factor. But yeah, the trazodone works really well, especially when I take him to my grandfather's, which is 4.5 to 5 hours. But I'm hoping because his mama, Tallulah, doesn't have any issue in the car. She can ride for days, no problem. Meclizine. Yeah, he doesn't do well with CBD. We've tried that, and it just he has an opposite reaction. He's insane. I wish it was like that kind of thing that happened, but he's not. But he likes his. I bought him a toy twice, yesterday and today, for his and he loves them for his trip because I want him to have a happy experience with his moving around. I think that's a good thing, and not just always like I'm going to the vet or I'm going to do this or whatever. So he's spoiled to death the past 2 days. You can take your puppy, but
Hey, Cheerful, how you doing?
Cheerful. Oh my goodness. Hi.
Good to see you. You have you have missed a modestly entertaining night.
Oh my God. You got to at least
Yeah.
rewatch the first hour because it is hilarious. And I hope Brentwood watches it because she will be laughing her butt off and she needs that right now.
Yeah. Jane taught my cat to be a good car cat. So when we go to the vet, he's not crazy cat. Figured out my cat likes Burger King. So now we go to Burger King. So he has a positive experience in the car.
So you get it.
There you go.
I mean, I just can't feed Chunk before we go.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. That would be a disaster. But yeah.
You
I
know,
get it.
it's important for animals and it's also an important lesson to humans. You know, your attitude determines a lot of your physiological reaction.
It does.
Which, you know, kind of goes back to the topic tonight. You know, don't worry, be happy. I'm an economist. You know, I may not agree with, you know, Wolfer's premise in that article, but the general idea.
Sitting here watching the stream and eat at Burger King. Now it's ready to go.
So he heard the words Burger King and he's good to go. I gotta admit, I like a little Burger King every now and then.
We don't have one anymore.
Yeah, we do.
Where?
Right there at Monkey Junction.
No, it's gone. They closed it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that.
I used to
Makes
take
me sad.
Tallulah. I know. I used to take Tallulah everywhere with me. And now that I have, and I still do, but now that I can't handle both of them at the same time when I'm just going like running errands. So I've taken Chunk with me, and Tallulah is so mad at me. She's like, "You hooker, what are you doing?" And she gives me stink eye when I leave, stink eye when I come back, and she won't speak to me or look at me for a little bit. She still isn't. But I'm just trying to get Chunk used to doing the things. You know, dogs. They're so dramatic.
Oh yeah, where do they get that from? There you go, Cheerful. Puddin' is a traditional Southern term of endearment and a good name for a chocolate Highland cool.
Cow.
Cool.
Cool.
C-O-O.
Cow. It's not a cool, it's a cow.
Scottish.
Yeah.
It's a Highland cool.
We'll see. Go,
There you
go.
go.
Love you guys.
Everybody's cheering on Jane going to Burger King.
Yes. And trust me, cheerfully, you have to watch the first part of this. It was, I mean, I was laughing my hiney off. I think Clay was too, and everybody else. Agreed. Cows for everyone. We should all have. I had a client when I was doing hair, did her hair for a wedding, and she got her husband for his wedding present 2 pygmy goats that stayed in the house. I'm like, what? Pygmy goats?
2 pygmy goats?
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
She said they're like dogs. I've heard that buffalo face into a snowstorm, but cows turn away from the wind. I know, right? Like, sorry. Like Michael, who was a descendant of, what is the main chief that did the, I'll think of it later. Anyway.
She has these thoughts from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and looks at me like, what am I trying to think of?
Weren't you there with me?
Yeah.
Come on. Cows? Dumb buffalo.
It's the kind of person I would want to marry, someone who gets me to live with pygmy. I'm going to assume with pygmy goats, not but with pygmy goats.
I will get her number and send it to you. She loves those little suckers. I mean, her husband's a river pilot. I don't know if you know what that is. Anyone?
Yeah.
It is someone who actually navigates the rivers from the sea inland. And if you don't live in a by the coast, you would have
port
no
community.
idea what that is. But yes, they know, to live in pygmy goats. I know, right?
I like the fainting
Who
goats.
gets me to live in pygmy goats? Yeah, he's the son of a congressman, and I'm just like, okay, what else?
Yeah, river pilots, are probably coming more in fame now with the crash in the Boston Harbor.
Yep.
Because once a big freighter gets near the port will literally ferry out a pilot to command that freighter, take command of that big cargo ship and navigate the channels, because sometimes the channels and sand can shift with currents and waves or whatever. So non-native pilots may not be intimately familiar with the channel and how to navigate it.
Non-native sailors or captains or whatever.
Yeah, non-native captains that don't live in that city.
Mhm.
Not, native in terms of, American or whatever. Just a captain who doesn't live and transverse that
And know how it works.
port, that
Yeah.
channel all the time. So most major ports have channel captains who will ferry out to the boat, pilot it into the docks, and then pilot it out when it's ready to
And take it up the
head
river
back to sea.
if they need to. I mean,
Well, yeah, get it into
Yeah.
the port.
Not just the port, but just all the way up the river. We've got the PD, we've got a bunch.
Well, they take it to a
Yeah.
port
Yeah.
somewhere.
But that's hard. Like, it's hard if you're not from here and you don't know how the rivers and the intercoastal work, you're just driving the dark, and there's so much danger you can get into from not knowing. Fuck off. That's look, I hate that look.
Isn't that what I just said? Anyway,
This is my life, people.
this is my life. For good, for great, for entertainment, for laughs, funs,
For
poops and
goofiness.
giggles.
Mm-hmm.
With the beast, which are now actually, one of them has a chew stick, the other one's staring at it.
The
Mad.
other one's laying on another one. He's
Oh, is he?
right underneath us.
Okay.
He's tired. He had a big day.
Think they're pooped out.
I think so. I think I'm pooped out.
Speaking of pooped out,
Just remember, she feeds you. Thank you, Jane.
Jane,
Mm-hmm.
Jane, just remember who the chef is.
Me, not you.
You're the cook.
No, that is not how this works. You make bread. That's it.
I make damn good chili too.
No, your chili is crap because you use stuff in a can.
It's good.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jane, I'm with you. If I leave, he'll starve.
There's one thing I'm discovering about this crew is that I will not win an argument.
They love me. You hate that, don't you? They love me.
No, you have certain modestly lovable traits.
Modestly lovable. Okay.
The term
Traits.
for the night.
All right.
Speaking of modestly,
I am tired.
it's about that time.
We had a big day.
Really appreciate y'all joining us tonight.
Thanks, Guy. We're gonna keep this going
This
on.
puffy hair.
It's not puffy. It's just not.
It was described as puffy.
Well, it is puffy, but puffy is usually have it like gelled back and wet.
Nah.
I'm gonna try, Sky. I'm gonna try. I have been trying for months. We'll figure it out. And Cheerful, I am so glad that you showed up. We missed you. Jane, good to see you. Melissa, always.
Yeah.
And of course, Sky, Ricky, and Carson.
For those of you on the replay crew, we we
love you
appreciate
too.
you. Love you
Yes.
too.
We know that sometimes our timing is not your timing, and that's okay.
And really do hope that y'all will be able to join us for the book club next Tuesday. Don't forget that. So even if you haven't read the book, come on in, join in the fun.
Rapture Red, where is it?
We will do a little bit of rambling anyway.
Okay, it is. We always ramble.
We always get into the rambling.
And it will be on Zoom. We will post the link on our community comment.
Yeah, so look for it that morning.
Yeah, we will not. It will not be on YouTube because we don't care to get any monetization from any of this.
Yeah.
So
Now, anything that YouTube, I couldn't think of the name, anything that YouTube will pay us for advertising, if people watch this and there are ads that throw up, we may get a few, half a penny or something off that. But
we just want to have a frank discussion
yeah,
on, the books that we put up. And we're going to do the bread, the milk, or the butter.
the recipe club.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I promise.
Yep. But thank y'all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. Enjoyed it. Was a good night with you. We appreciate your fellowship.
Enjoy the laughs.
Yep.
We love you guys.
Our time is up. We thank you for yours. Good night. Blessings to you.
Sweet dreams.